Well, time for another episode of 42nd Street Pete's Grindhouse, and we're still sticking with the black and white motif here. And there was a couple, the 50s were a wonderful time because they were doing experiments with all kinds of shit. And one thing that, popped into our consciousness was creatures that were thawed out due to atomic bomb blasting. That's right. And I can think of two right off the bat: the Beast from 20,000 Fathoms and the Deadly Mantis. Well, Universal in the 50s decided to release a series of sci-fi films, some good, some bad. You had the Monolith Monsters, the Mole People. What else was there out there? It Came from Outer Space. God, there was a whole bunch. Of course, the Creature from the Black Lagoon. How could we not mention that? But the Deadly Mantis was, Deadly Mantis was 1957. And basically, it's a giant prehistoric praying mantis that is thawed out and decides to fly to New York, making several stops on the way to eat the inhabitants of certain things. There's some footage with Eskimos looking up. There's one famous one with Eskimo just looking up, like with this goofy expression on his face. And that was lifted from a 1933 film, SOS something or other. But anyway, one of the coolest scenes of this whole thing with the mantis is, because it is a big fucking insect, is when it lands in this outpost in the Arctic somewhere, and basically is attacking a base and is, chased off by flamethrowers and things like that. And that seems to be the coolest scene in the movie, because I remember as a kid having the 8mm film of that, and that was the highlight of the whole film, that attack on the base, which really looks good. And the fucking mantis looks good and nasty. The whole thing ends up in the Lincoln Tunnel, where the monster has come back to New York and somehow got in the Lincoln Tunnel. And if you've ever been in a traffic jam in the Lincoln Tunnel, you'll relate to that whole scene. And they basically gas it in the Lincoln Tunnel. And as one who's been gassed in the Lincoln Tunnel a few times, I can relate to the whole thing. Really cool film. One of the better Universal efforts of the 50s. But we also had in 1953, the Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. A prehistoric dinosaur awakened in the Arctic by, I guess, atomic testing. And of course, this one is Ray Harryhausen's baby. This was run on $1 Million Movie in New York, like 7 days a week. And I was like glued to the screen because this was fucking great. This was, here we have a stop motion dinosaur being thawed out in the Antarctic, taking out a lighthouse. The scene where it sinks a boat is really fucking cool too. And then it emerges out of the harbor of New York and starts attacking Manhattan. And, the one scene that always stands out is a tough New York cop just walking up to it and trying to shoot it, and then gets eaten on camera by the dinosaur. A testament to how tough the New York City cops really are, because in my estimation, there are no cops braver and tougher than the New York City cops. First responders, I salute you. But anyway, the monster creates havoc, and it's bleeding, and its blood has some kind of fucking bacteria in it, which is making everybody sick. So now they know they can't blow this fucking thing apart, because they'll scatter this bacteria and disease all over the city. So the thing did get a wound in its neck, and they feel the best way to do this, to kill it, is to shoot a radioactive isotope into the wound. And they need a sharpshooter for it. Well, they get a very young Lee Van Cleef as a sharpshooter. And he's actually billed on the poster and in the movie. This is one of his first films, actually. And he walks up to the commander, and they hand him a rifle, and they go, "Do you ever use one of these?" And he comes back with, "I picked my teeth with this," which would be an omen of things to come. So anyway, Lee shoots the monster, gets the thing right into the wound, the thing roars, takes down the amusement park, and then curls up and dies. This wouldn't be the last monster Lee Van Cleef killed. If you remember, he also killed the Creature from Venus, and it conquered the world. So a little cool fact there. Of course, a year later, our friends in Japan remade Beast from 20,000 Fathoms as Godzilla, and of course, it became a legend there. Godzilla became an icon of the Japanese people, and is still thrilling us today, even though it's CG fucking created crap. So, yeah, two good films to check out, Deadly Mantis and Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. So don't let these slip through your fingers. So that's our show today. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for tuning in, and we will catch you on the flip side.